This isn't a Canucks video. Guys, get your heads out of here. We're not talking about two Vancouver Canucks, we're talking about Calgary Flames. The Canucks video is probably going to come later today because they play the Penguins in the early 4 p.m. game. So we're going to be watching that, we're going to be talking about that afterwards, no matter what happens, because there's always a story with Vancouver. But when it comes to the Calgary Flames, we have ourselves a story between two guys that I do think are very good hockey players and that have been showing off that they have so much gosh darn value. Despite the fact that you could debate their contracts are a little bit long, despite the fact that maybe in the long term you could realistically say that you don't know where exactly they're going to go in terms of how good they're going to be once those contracts are near their end, but still. Let's talk today about Calgary Flames goaltender Jacob Markstrom, as well as Calgary Flames defenseman Chris Tanev. Now, the reason we're talking about these guys over here is because there was a clip on Donnie and Dolly where they interviewed Kelly Hrudey, and this was from a few days ago, so I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and watch it. And they asked Hrudey, hey, what's the deal with Markstrom and Tanev? How are these guys doing on the team? And just how good have they been? For Chris Tanev, let's start out with him because he is the less obvious amongst the two. He's got himself 5 points in 20 games played right now, but the biggest thing right here is that he actually has 20 games played. Screw the 5 points. We all kind of know how Chris Tanev plays and whether or not he produces points or whatever, that doesn't really matter. Just for sake of argument right here, he's on pace for about 20 points, which is really good, oddly enough. He's on pace to breaking his career high in point production on the season, but the fact that he actually has played a full 20-game season so far, and he is completely healthy, is a really good thing. Kelly Hrudey on the interview said that Chris Tanev is arguably the best player on that Calgary blue line because just the way he plays, the defensive responsibility, the shutdown talent, he's got it all, and he is as polished and as good as he ever has been. And, you know, okay, I get it, this is kind of a Canucks video because we're talking about former Canucks. He displayed those traits for so many years in a blue, green, and white sweater, and now he is doing that in the red and white sweater. So, seeing him go out there for Calgary, it does kind of break my heart because the contract, you know, $4.5 million a season till 23-24. I mean, it's not bad now. And the way his trajectory is seemingly going, I mean, Chris Tanev will be, what is he? He's right now 31 years old. He'll be 34 when his contract expires, which is pretty big. Like, I'm not going to lie, that is a pretty significant amount of time into the future. And I remember the first thing the Canucks fans said about Tanev after he got signed to that contract is, yeah, by the time he is 34 years old, who even knows how capable he's going to be, because the guy's fragile, he's made of glass, he gets injured, this and that, and I mean, if you take a look at it, he's played the full 56-game year for Calgary last year, he has played the full 20-game sample for the Calgary Flames this year so far, and I believe for Vancouver in his last season here, 19-20, he played the full 69 games as well, so Chris Tanev, for the reputation he has of being a fragile, made-of-glass kind of guy, he hasn't missed a game in, like, however many years. So, you know, it just makes me go, man, like, we had all these repercussions in our minds as to why Chris Tanev getting signed to a contract that would have at least made him want to stay would have been a bad thing, but, yeah, here's the replacement. We've got Tucker Poolman and Travis Hamonic making 5-point-something million combined until, what, 23, 24, 25? Yeah, it's gonna be great seeing all these guys coming out here doing their thing for the Vancouver Canucks when Chris Tanev is one of the best defensemen on Calgary. Let's say, for the sake of argument, the Canucks don't get Travis Hamonic and they don't get Tucker Poolman. They keep Tanev around, they keep Myers around, and then they get somebody else, you know? You've got Kyle Burrows. He's good. I like that guy. I know he swaps around, but he's a right-handed guy. He is good. You've got Luke Schenn, who is a true right-handed defenseman. I like him too. There are options here, and I think just having a blue line on the right side of, let's say, a Tanev, Myers, and Schenn is a lot better than what we have now of Poolman, Hamonic, Myers instead. Don't you love to see it? Let's talk about Markstrom here, too. I know I said this wasn't a Canucks video, but I'm just kind of being tongue-in-cheek about it. Markstrom is one of the best goaltenders in the entire gosh darn NHL. He got himself another 2 wins after the shutout streak that he had of wins against Buffalo, New York, Philly, Pittsburgh. 4 straight games where he wins and they're all shutouts. How good is that? Sure, there are some losses thrown in there too, but the guy had not won a game that wasn't a shutout for 4 straight games. So, good for him. Against the New York Islanders, he saved himself 34 shots on 36 shots against for a .944 save percentage, and then against the Blackhawks, he had himself another win, a 5-2 win as well. Jacob Markstrom has a .940 on the year and a .173 goals against average in 15 games played. My goodness, he is one of the best goaltenders in the entire gosh darn NHL. And, I mean, he's second in the league in save percentage, tied with James Reimer, and .004 behind Jack Campbell. So, he's an absolute monster. And it's kind of funny, because this shouldn't be surprising. Anybody who had been watching Vancouver for the years that Marky was over here, you know just how gosh darn good this guy can be. It's just the Canucks and their defensive lapses really didn't make things easy for Markstrom, statistically speaking. This was the team that was giving up consistent 40, 45 shot against games, and Markstrom still went out there with a .918 in the 1920 regular season, which netted him 4th in Vezina voting, and a .919 in the postseason in the bubble. This team got absolutely bailed out by Jacob Markstrom and the goaltending he provided that, honestly, he kind of screwed over the team in a way because he masked so many holes and deficiencies with this club that by the time he was gone, sorry Demko, sorry Halak, but you guys just could not compensate for the amount of volume that Jacob Markstrom was able to cover up for those few years. Now, Demko is very well possible of doing that as well, but the Vancouver Canucks have gotten even worse since Markstrom has left, and it's put Demko in a very difficult position. Meanwhile, Markstrom is now in Calgary. He's in front of he's behind. Yeah, he's behind a decor that knows what they're doing, where Chris Tanev is one of the best defensemen, if not the best defenseman on that squad, where the offense, they play to their strengths, they keep the puck in the offensive zone, they keep it away from the opposition half the time, which really helps out the decor and Jacob Markstrom in doing their jobs properly, and now you look at it and Calgary is one of the best teams in the NHL. Is that fair to say? I mean, okay, let's look at the NHL standings. I kind of just said that without really thinking about it. Calgary, right now, they are first in the Pacific Division. 29 total points. They're first in the West, and they're tied with Carolina and Florida for top in the league. Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the NHL. Thank you, me. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one, for saying that they were the best team in the NHL, or one of the best teams, and then looking at the standings and having that to prove it. But, yeah, Markstrom, Tanev, these guys are kind of a part of it, and the Vancouver Canucks, where they are right now, in contrast to a very offensively productive and defensively sound Flames team, Canucks are bad right now, man. They really could have used a guy like Tanev. Just saying. Just freaking saying. Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about this video over here. If you're a Flames fan, I know I wanted to make this video a bit later for you guys because the Flames don't play today. Y'all played the Blackhawks last night and won, as we said. But for Canucks fans, I know it's tough to watch this video right before the game, but it's kind of a necessary thing here because there are 28 teams playing in the NHL right now, so it's very tough to schedule the games because it's only Calgary, Chicago, Tampa, and I think Dallas that aren't playing today. So those are kind of the teams that you gotta have the sweet spot to make videos for, which is why I didn't really do that. I'm good at following my own rules, if you haven't already noticed. Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Tanev and Marky and how they've been doing in the Calgary Flames so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.